Representative Adam Kinzinger is aligning himself more and more with Democrats. He's a Republican congressman, but he's a real big opponent of Trumpism. So he's got this new thing that he's rolling out here. Take a look.
You know, when we originally booked you, you weren't going to be alone in this segment. You were going to be joined by a couple of other folks who also voted to impeach on the Republican side of the aisle. Explain how hard this is to be as public-facing as you are. You've been taking arrows a little bit longer than the rest, so I think you've got a thicker armor these days. But explain this difficulty that some of your colleagues are in.
Look, it's really difficult. I mean, all of a sudden imagine everybody that supported you, or so it seems that way, your friends, your family, has turned against you. They think you're selling out. I mean, I've gotten a certified letter twice from the same people disowning me and claiming I'm possessed by the devil. But the reality is this is a time to choose. It's a time to choose what we're going to be in. And my goal in launching countryfirst.com with the number one is just to say, look, let's take a look at the last 4 years, how far we have come in a bad way, how backwards looking we are, how much we peddle darkness and division. And that's not the party I ever signed up for, and I think most Republicans didn't sign up for that. So you know what, yes, it's a tough position to be in, but it's really invigorating to remember what you're standing for and to talk about putting the country over party.
So what party did you sign up for? That's my question. I don't know how old this guy was when he signed up for the Republican Party, but my guess is when he signed up for it, it was either the Ronald Reagan Party, George H.W. Bush Party, or George W. Bush Party. So which party was it? I really, really, really recoil at this line of argument. This idea of the Republican Party lost its way under Trump. And before that, they were very honorable and noble. But they weren't. They weren't. That's fantasy land. That's nonsense. So Newsweek headline said, Adam Kinzinger is arguing, let's take back our party. He's launching a PAC to challenge the Trump wing of the GOP. And he's calling it the Country First PAC. So I watched his launch video. And first of all, there was music in the background that was way too loud, obnoxious, and annoying. But second of all, he managed to talk for 5 minutes and say nothing at all. The whole thing was as a Republican, I wholly believe that the trueness of our values demonstrates the oneness of our being in the United States of America, and we need to make sure we put principles first and foremost and advocate for those among us who are all Americans in the eyes of, and it's just, let me talk for an extended amount of time and just try to do that Reagan trick where it's you just suck off America and blow smoke up its ass and act like America's great. I think it's great. Do you think it's great? Because I think it's great. You're not saying anything. It's the Republican version of the Tom Perez, I'm for good things and against bad things, and I hope you are too. We need to lead with our values and our virtues. And I hate that shit because just tell me what you're actually for. What are the things you're actually for? And my guess is when he goes down the list of policies, it's going to be exactly like Trump. Just the problem is with Trump, he did it in an unfiltered way. He did it while being a dick on Twitter. So these guys don't like that he's a dick. These guys don't like that he has no civility and decorum. These guys don't like he puts a mean face on the mean policies. So they want to put the smiley face on the mean policies. They want to do Wall Street deregulation with a smile. That's what they want to do. They want to cut taxes for the wealthy politely. That's what they want to do. So I just find it so silly. When was the Republican Party some sort of principled party? Under George W. Bush, it was the party of torture and the party of illegal and offensive wars. And then every subsequent president followed in those footsteps. So there was no time where it's before it was totally fine. Now we have problems. And by the way, the other hilarious part of this is this guy's going to get crushed. This PAC's not going to have it. What are you going to do? You're going to run some candidates and get obliterated? Because the Trump wing of the party still makes up the most politically active wing of the party. Now, you could argue it's 50-50, there's 50% that are not part of the Trump wing, okay, but they're not as motivated and they're not as active as the 50% that is the Trump base. So they're in a no-win situation because Trumpism was a fraud. It was fake populism. Now it's just culture war grievance bullshit. But then the old school Republican classic ideology is just elitism by another name. You know, it's just smug elitism by another name where they're for the same policies, but they're more polite. So there's a no-win situation here on the Republican side, but it will be funny to watch this guy Kinzinger realize that, like, oh shit, there is no place for me in the Republican Party. In fact, this guy's perfect for the corporate Democrats because the corporate Democrats and the corporate Republicans in many ways are very similar. And so what you're going to see here is, and I love this clip because it proves it, Chuck Todd is acting like, sir, you're so brave for what you're doing. Really? Brave? He's going to get, you know, in every mainstream media outlet except Fox News, they're going to give him a smooth hand job and act like, you're so amazing to stand up for Trump with your -6 fans. And it's like, no, this is a ticket directly into the club, directly into the elite establishment power centers, the cultural power centers. So just like the Lincoln Project guys who, you know, wine moms all across the country, the resistance types, blew them up. And now, by the way, one of the guys who was like a co-founder of it was a crazy sexual predator with 21 victims. One of them was 14 years old. We just learned this the other day. But like, yeah, these are the people who they welcome with open arms. The media loves nothing more than an anti-Trump Republican because it gives them the exact narrative that they want, which is the establishment of both parties are good, noble folks, and Trump is the bad guy and he's the only problem here. And it's just a bogus narrative. The reality is Trump's a piece of shit, and the establishment of both parties are gigantic pieces of shit, albeit in different ways.